Today we're gonna meet Saget, a wealthy African man living in Africa. He has 3 wives and 19 children. We're going to see how they live in this culture, why he has 3 wives, and his goal of having 10. So let's meet the wives and see why he's such a wealthy man in one of the poorest countries. Let's go. This is a cushion, quite different from what we consider an ideal cushion. I would say, how many cows would you pay for her? How much would you pay for her? Right now we're in the car. As you can see, it's raining and we're on our way to meet the wealthy African man. We're on our way to his home with a guide and a driver. As you can imagine, getting here hasn't been easy at all.
Okay, this is Abraham.
We've just been told there's a problem because he had so much land in so many areas right now, they don't know where the wealthy African man is. Besides the issue of not being able to find a wealthy African man, we were also feeling quite uncomfortable. Anya, how are you seeing today's adventure?
Yes, it's a very different environment from what we're used to. I don't know. Let's see if we find the wealthy African man and if we can meet his wives.
We continued the journey for a bit longer until we met the first members of Bana tribe. Exactly here behind us is the Bana tribe, one of the most distinctive tribes because as you can see they walked on stilts. You can see that they have ashes on their faces. It's a tradition. Children from the tribe mostly do this. In this case, the taller the boy, the higher the stilts. And these stilts, although it might seem like it just because they like them, are actually practical because birds or mosquitoes often come to eat their food, and with these stilts they have much better view, so it's a useful tool. The wealthy African man we're meeting today is part of this tribe, the Bana tribe. So as you can see, we're already getting introduced, and now we're going to meet him. Are we in the Bana tribe now? And are we going to find the wealthy man now?
Yes.
Since they have confirmed I will be able to meet the millionaire, I felt more eased until we arrived and this happened.
We'll have some discussion and then we come to you. Just
Okay. Thank you. Alright, we are supposedly arrived. Negotiations, I think. After waiting quite a while, we continued moving forward, but while we were on our way, the guide told us some very interesting things about the millionaire. So does he have 3 wives?
Yes.
3.
It is how the rich people do, and the good people do. So rich means in our tribe is not that you make business with trades or bitcoin. So your rich mean is that you are working very hard with managing your cattle and also having the benefit from the nature. This man does that, so he can go until 3. But he can also go further 4.
In this tribe, to marry a woman, you don't have to ask for her hand, but rather have family. And they, depending on the money you have, decide whether you are suitable for the daughter or not. After this, the guide also told us that it was his first time visiting this tribe.
I'm also a stranger. We speak the same language, but never visit.
So things weren't looking great, but we continued the trip. Whoa, that's the man.
What's the name?
Sagay.
Sagid.
Yeah.
Alright, we introduced ourselves rather suddenly. As you can see, it's raining. I'll try to be as polite as possible so I don't get in trouble. And while we were greeting each other, one of his wives arrived. And another one. There's another one, and it seems like there's a house for each wife. When the first wife arrived, I did my best to communicate.
Nagaya.
Yo,
Salaman.
what's your name? Name? Nagayo.
Nagaya is como estas. The full greeting is hola como estas.
Nagaya Fayo.
Sí.
We are making a bit of a fool ourselves here, folks. My main concern here is doing something disrespectful to the tribe. But before going to meet his wives, they explained this to me. We cannot greet the woman without him being present, as it is considered disrespectful, and we need to greet him first. So now we're heading to the first wife house. My goal is to enter each of his wife's houses, so we started with the first one. How much does a wife cost? Do they get along? Why do they live separately? I was gonna ask all of these questions, but first I needed to earn a bit of trust to avoid creating a tense atmosphere. It's only 1:30 now, but let's see if they let us in and take a look at the house. I entered the first white house, and the first thing I stood out was the size of the entrance, which is quite small, so you have to bow every time you enter, and honestly, the interior wasn't bad at all. We can see that everything here is very rural. There's no Wi-Fi, of course, no cell signal, no service at all. Something particular about the Bana culture is that everything revolves around the idea of having children, so a wealthy man with many wives is considered a blessing for the tribe.
It's quite shocking because it's a completely different concept from what we have about marriage, being a wife, or having children. Understanding it, well, it takes some effort, right? Their mission in life is to have children. Our perception is that you become a mother if you want to, not because of social status.
What's that?
That's the sleeping mattress. It's made from a cow skin.
So they literally sleep here. They stretched out like this. This is how they sleep. This is cowhide. Actually, it's more comfortable than it looks. This is a cushion, quite different from what we consider an ideal cushion, I'd say. Wow, how curious.
The round thing that they have is to drop the waters when the rain comes, and it's a protection.
Later, I want to climb a tree they have 4 meters high where they oversee the harvest. It'll be fun to climb, and here there's a lot of smoke and heat. It's crazy. Look, while we're looking at the house, we handed Saget a mobile phone.
He's taking a selfie. He's He's taking a photo. He's really intrigued, as we can see.
And feeling a bit more relaxed, we were finally able to start asking questions. Have you always lived here? But before I could continue asking her questions, his second wife arrived. The second wife has arrived.
He's a witness.
And another wife as well. I'm a bit lost. This is the third one. How many children do you have? I asked this question to learn more about him, but he didn't seem happy, and it took several minutes to give an answer. Until finally the translator gave me an answer.
19 kids.
Whoa.
So she have 7 and she got 6 and 6.
But why is he reached? Is it from his parents or? The translator asked Sigit my question and they had a very long conversation.
Said, my money is not the money you have. My money is my cattle. And the cattle he can have is one by working hard. And of course he said, I have been heritage from my family.
Does he go hunting?
He goes hunt and then he collects honey from many different trees.
How many wives can you have?
He's about in the 50s and imagine that he wants 10 wives. So it will take time for him. But in his heart, his aim is to have 10. So take the coffee, that is your first invitation.
Thank you. They invited us that coffee. They offered us coffee that looked unlike anything I've ever seen, so we stopped to drink it. But while we were waiting for the coffee to cool down a bit, I realized that it had taken my back this entire time. After a few minutes, the coffee had cooled down, and it was time to drink it with Sigit's 3 wives. So, do I drink this?
Yeah.
Is it hot?
No, not bad.
Not too hot.
No, it's not hot.
Let's give it a try.
Take a little.
I drank almost the entire coffee thinking it was for me by mistake. Here, you're supposed to take just a few sips and then pass it to someone else, so we always show the coffee something I didn't know. I already messed it up. Then it was Anya's turn.
It's good.
And finally, we gotta talk with one of the wives. The situation is a bit tense because you can't ask direct questions. Everything needed to be done carefully. The guide is here watching us closely. You ask the husband first, and if he approves, she can answer. So what's your name and how old are you?
Kiri.
Kiri. And how old are you?
I cannot ask because I don't know the age.
Can she see her family? How did you feel when they wanted to buy you or keep you?
I have been in one wedding of my family. Every time I this story, that day is like the end of her freedom. You know, like stay in the family, make children, and then you have no right to decide by you.
It's really harsh. Like overnight, they take away you from the freedom and you're sold to someone who will do whatever they wanted with you for the rest of your life. You can't know this girl's age because they don't count years here, but she seems far too young to be married against her will. He's the husband of the girl who is breastfeeding. You might not understand any of this, but weren't all the women his wives? To help you understand, I'll draw a diagram for you. Basically, here's a kid with his 3 wives, with whom he had many children, 7, 6, and 6. One of the children he had with his first wife is here, and one of the children he had with the second wife is the one here. So they got married and now they have a child. To help you understand a bit, they are all his children in the end. By the way, all the women who has their hairstyle like this are married. How many cows did you pay for her? I will never thought I would ask this, but when the translator asked my question, they laughed a lot.
They brought 20 big goats, okay? It's like the size of a goat, the good one, the good condition goats. 20 goats and one big hunt.
How much is that in dollars?
$1,000 billion, $200. It's nearly 200, it's like $180. So
5,000 euros it cost. I was really shocked by this information, so to keep going to know how they lived, I suggest we take a walk through the village. We've been walking for at least 5 minutes, and it steals all his lands. I mean, the amount of land he owns is insane. And now we've seen the cows. To give you an idea, the average price for a cow is around $600. So 600, 600, 600, 600, and the goats coming over here, each little goat is 200. That's what holds the value here, land and livestock. We walked a bit more until we reached the second wife's house, which was quite different. Look at the door. It's a window from the second wife's house. So let's go in. Look, unlike the other, she has clothes hanging. There's fruit here, right? Or corn, it seems. There's like a second floor here, and here we see the fruit hanging, corn and corn, which is basically what they eat. There we have the fire, and this is a bit of the second wife's house. We didn't stay too long at the second wife's house because we were invited to a feast at the third wife's house. But before we left, we came across this tree, which I had been wanting to climb since I arrived at the tribe. Let's climb the tree, one of our goals, and I'll show you the view. We're in trouble, guys. I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna take off my shoes. Maybe I'll regret it, but they are sleeping a lot.
Spring on the top, on the top. Here they go.
Whoa!
And then
All the branches are moving. Holy moly, we're messing things up a lot here. Wow, it's quite high. Look where everybody is. From here, they keep watch for nearby cattle to go hunting. This is very unstable. I mean, look at how the sticks are moving. There's a gap here, and climbing tree is like really slippery. Look at the view and all of the length they have. After climbing the tree, I understood a key aspect of happiness here. While we were trying to distract ourselves for the maximum for our reality, they try to connect as much as possible with theirs. And I wanted to take this moment to thank you for all of the support you're giving to the channel. My goal is to bring you the best possible content so that you have it a good time to be entertained. So thank you so much for being here. I love you all. Let's revolutionize this panic sector together. So I climbed down the tree and continued. Honestly, I was really hungry. You're not climbing, Enya?
No.
Are you sure? It's really
Yeah.
easy.
I've already seen how well you managed.
Leave a like and subscribe for this crazy moment. Look at how everyone is laughing at me. A few minutes later, we finally arrived at the third wife's house. We've just arrived at the third wife's house. It's quite separate, and I think it's in the best conditions. She's the youngest, so let's meet her. Look at the entrance, all fenced off for the animals. Nagaya. Look at my hands. I mean, I'm going to eat this.
look, no problem. Let's go.
It's like nuts. Fermented milk from 10 days ago. Look how it looks. I don't want to eat too much because I don't think it will sit well. Do they have rules here, laws?
All the chief, there is one king. So there is a rule, cultural rule. It's not written, but it's practiced by the culture.
Got it.
This is beans, spinach, and sorghum powder.
They cook this and they store it, right?
Keep it like for 1 day, 2 days.
1-2 days. Okay. So they eat this every day, always.
Yes. And if they want some like good food, we say like meat or some hunting food, the men will provide. They are more to say they are vegetarian.
See, that's interesting, look. See what they eat? They eat this. They're vegetarians. I just saw that this child has a one on his leg and there are like 4 flies going into it and he does nothing. Has he ever hunted a lion?
He said many times.
Many times.
But he had not a chance to kill. He tried, but always not work.
Then we went into the third wife's house and asked her a few questions. How do I get in here? I noticed she also had a pantry to store food and kitchen utensils.
Bueno, yo veo que esta mujer está bastante más apretujada que las otras dos. Casi no tiene espacio.
And here we took the opportunity to ask more personal questions to the third wife, taking advantage of the fact that her husband wasn't with us. How did you feel the day he bought you? Do you think he really loves you or just owns you? And are you in love with him? So despite the fact that he owns them, so to speak, he buys them. He treats them well, he could choose not to, that's quite important. He tries to take care of them, and I see that. Deep down, he's a good man who wants to take care of them and form a big family. Would you like to live here, or are you happy? We were starting to get more comfortable with the whole tribe, so we asked how much he would pay for Enya. How much would you pay for her? What qualities do you look for in a wife? So he wants it for free.
Nano America came because Sultanka American is
And since things were starting to get out of hand, we decided to step away for a bit. I'm kind of a bubble right now to process what we experienced because in the end, these cultures are so different. I mean, their life goal is to have as many wives as possible because I see them very happy, but at the same time, very comfortable.
Very comfortable.
But I don't know how
Very
much they
comfortable.
like the fact that they were bought. Well, at least we've seen that the second one did like it. On the other hand, the relationship between the wives isn't entirely good. The first and the second wives get along well, but they don't have a good relationship with the third wife. That's why she leaves farther away. In the end, to be a wealthy African man, you might think he's not that rich, right? Because he lives here in the middle of the nature and everything. But think about all the land he has, the woman, the livestock, and he's a millionaire. Here in Ethiopia, he's a wealthy man.
It's incredible because he's changed his clothes like 3 times, the wealthy African man.
And something I find curious is the fact that in the end, it's like a small society here. I mean, maybe this was a bit like in the beginning of humanity, right? Where you have several wives, you diversify and create a culture. We go to have more wives to create more life.
And one thing, yes, we may be in a tribe in Africa and everything. Now, the landscape is beautiful, huh? Getting out of bed and seeing this every day must be amazing.
And from what I'm realizing, there's no love here as we understand it. I do see that they care of each other, but I wouldn't say there's that pure love with the other person, right? And to finish, they bid us farewell with the ceremony. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and remember that we're all humans. Goodbye. We're in trouble, guys. I'm gonna take off. Whoa. I'm gonna take off my shoes. Maybe I'll regret it, but